The Middle East is once again thrust into a cycle of violence, igniting tensions across the region. And the missile strike this evening from Iran on Israel, which came as probably a direct response to Israel's ground invasion of Lebanon and the targeted killing of senior Hamas and Hezbollah figures in Beirut, has escalated the conflict to dangerous new levels. The Israeli incursion into Lebanon follows weeks of heightened tensions and retaliatory actions between Israel and armed groups such as Hamas and Hezbollah. And Israel's primary objective appears to have been neutralizing high-ranking leaders within those groups, aiming to weaken their command structures and retaliate for ongoing rocket fire and attacks on Israeli citizens. The assassination of key figures in Beirut, though decisive, predictably incited an immediate backlash from these groups' primary backer, Iran. Tehran's missile strikes this evening signal not just retaliation, but a strong message of Iran's commitment to supporting its allies in the region. Iran, as a key player in the axis of resistance, a coalition that includes Hezbollah, Hamas, and Syrian forces, views any attack on these groups as an attack on its sphere of influence. And the missile strike was not only symbolic but strategic, targeting critical Israeli military infrastructure. It represents Iran's long-held policy of asymmetrical warfare, where instead of directly confronting Israel through state-level warfare, it uses proxies and indirect measures to challenge Israeli domination in the region. And the direct involvement of Iranian forces is, or would be, an alarming escalation that moves beyond mere proxy support into active military engagement with an army which has proven itself to be formidable, not only in the region, but probably in the world. The action that Israel took against Hezbollah in the last week has been extraordinary. And whether one supports it or doesn't support it, one has to admire the military and the subversive aspects of it, which are staggering. To fully appreciate the current conflict, it needs to be placed within the broader historical context. Israel and Hezbollah have been in near constant conflict since the early 1980s, following Israel's invasion of Lebanon during the Lebanese civil war. Hezbollah, backed by Iran, emerged as a significant military and political force in Lebanon, committed to resisting Israeli occupation. And the 2006 Lebanon war further entrenched the enmity between the two. In parallel, Hamas, based in Gaza, has been engaged in an armed struggle against Israel since the late 1980s too. Iran has provided both groups with financial support, training, and weapons, reinforcing its influence across both Lebanon and Gaza. But the Hezbollah in Lebanon has received significantly better weapons than Hamas in Gaza. Iran's missile strike also sends a message to other regional and international actors, particularly the United States and its allies, and Iran's actions demonstrate that it's willing to escalate regional tensions in order to defend its proxies. This creates a dangerous dynamic, particularly given Israel's deep military partnership with the US and its strategic importance in the Middle East. Any further escalation risks drawing in additional state actors, which could broaden the conflict beyond the region. Lebanon, already struggling under economic collapse and political paralysis, is now a central battlefield, therefore, once again. And the Israeli ground invasion, though aimed at curbing Hezbollah's power, risks destabilizing Lebanon further and potentially providing Hezbollah with a political power base. Hezbollah's integration into Lebanese society, its political power, means that any attempt to weaken Hezbollah or to weaken Lebanon risks widespread repercussion, including the possibility of a renewed civil war or regional instability that could spill over into neighboring states. The missile attack, therefore, on Israel this evening should not be seen as an isolated incident, but rather as a flashpoint in a much larger, deeply entrenched conflict. And the history of animosity between Israel, Hezbollah, Hamas, Iran, even including forces in the Yemen, is long and bloody and not helped by the pugilistic bombast of Netanyahu. What we're witnessing today is part of a broader struggle for dominance in the region, where ideological, religious, political conflicts are enmeshed. Iran's willingness to strike Israel directly suggests that the rules of engagement are shifting and that the international community must brace itself for the possibility of further violence in a region that has known little peace since 1948.